I know I'm doing well today. Um, Let me bring up the live chat today. While I'm bringing up the kind of getting my ducks in order over here, and I'm bringing up the chat on my streaming platform. I want to give you an idea what we're going to be covering today. Once it starts, the Village Idiot is going to be having a cabinet meeting, and those are always fun to cover because we cover those in real time and we watch the nonsense together. So, oh, hang on. Okay, so hey, Gamer Vet Dad, how are you? So I'm keeping an eye on C-SPAN right now, and as soon as the cabinet, hey Aggie, how are you? As soon as the cabinet meeting starts, we'll go right in. Let me just make sure I've got my sound effects nearby. Hang on. Where are they? Here's the sound effects. Let's just give them a. They're working good. Hey, Tina. Let's just move the applause up. Sometimes I have a hard time finding the applause. We're just checking the sound effects because we have a cabinet meeting coming up. It's supposed to start at 11, but it's, that didn't happen. We're just checking.
Look at my African American over here. Look at him.
They seem good.
Are you the greatest? Do you know what I'm talking about?
They seem good.
That China has total respect for Donald Trump and for Donald Trump's very, very large brain. I'm an extremely stable genius.
Okay. I think we're good. I think we've got a couple more to test out.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore.
All right, I think we're going to be okay. I just have a few more to test.
And I'll say, no, it isn't.
Circus music is good. And just in case we accidentally get a visit from James Comer, who is like, the Republican head of the Oversight Committee, who is I've told you many times, and I have anonymous sources. I can't tell you who they are, but they have confirmed to me that he's actually a real life Smurf, that he was discriminated against because he's a white Smurf. The Smurfs are usually blue, and he's an idiot, and they're usually smart. So you had a white dumb Smurf, and they kicked him out of Smurfville, and we have him in the House of Representatives. But just in case he shows up, this is an important song for him.
La, 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 sing a happy song.
The Smurf song.
La, 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 Smurf the whole day long.
All right, so we're prepared. I am, as you can see, while we're waiting for the cabinet, hopefully the cabinet meeting will start soon. While we're waiting, C-SPAN is just playing this, I think this pre-recorded, I think there's it may be live, I don't know, but there's a mayor's convention somewhere in the country right now, and I think there's like 257 mayors there, and this is the mayor of D.C. I can't think of her name. That's her. Irrespective, I can't think of her name offhand right now. So as soon as, sorry guys, a little bit of tidbits of that cold left over, but for the most part, it's gone. So as soon as we wrap that up, or as soon as they wrap that up and they start the C-SPAN starts covering the Village Idiots press conference, we will. Oh, come on! I don't know why C-SPAN does this. The live stream just ended. Let's restart that.
Les écoles publiques de
and then there's always a
York
commercial in the live
langue.
stream that on C-SPAN that you have to kind of go through. And let's get this. Oh, okay. So it looks like we might be moments away from the cabinet meeting. You know what? It looks like my window here. Let me just fix my window here because that you guys are going to be watching the cabinet meeting through because it looks like it's not working. Oh, what did I do now? Where is my live stream? Oh, there it is. I got very worried. I didn't see the live stream. Let's just make that a little bit bigger so you guys can see that. There we go. Is that better? That's better, isn't it, America? Tina, Karen, Jnet, how are you guys? So, oh, that's not going to, I mean, that helps me to see this, but it doesn't help me to see that. All right, so we're still waiting, and it looks like C-SPAN is trying to fill in any way they can. I'm going to do the same. So what do we have while we're kind of waiting for this? Let me show you one of the things that, let me just pop over to a new tab for a second. A couple things to cover, but this is us, by the way, if you wanted to see yourself in, real time. But if we scroll down a little bit, GamerVetDad has a new piece out. And I'm sorry, GamerVetDad, I know we were supposed to. I'm supposed to schedule a time for you and I to. I don't know why this. You know what? It's my my window here is too small. Let me see if I can get this whole piece in there. GamerVetDad and I are supposed to schedule a time soon to come online to talk about these, but he put out this new piece. I know you can't really see it because it's just the way I have my window set up. It's set up for the C-SPAN for the Village Idiots press conference. I have to change it for a website. But it's a really, really, really good piece. GamerVetDad. This is a little bit more narrative, a lot more narrative than his last piece, which was an analysis of the trigger points, the Trump-Nixon trigger points. This is a shorter narrative piece. It's really, really good analysis, reporting. It's a little bit op-ed. It's a little bit opinion. It's a lot reporting. It's a lot of analysis. It's a lot of I didn't add them in here, but GamerVetDad uses extensive sources when he writes these articles. So this is definitely one to check out because I think it will. I don't want to give any of it away yet, but I think it will once again give you some peace of mind. It'll make you. The comparisons between Nixon and Trump and where we are, the phase that GamerVetDad believes that we're in now in terms of the Nixon-Trump comparison, doesn't necessarily signal the end of the Trump administration, but it does signal, that the Trump administration has certainly lost control of everything, So we'll get into that. It looks like as we're waiting, it looks like C-SPAN is reporting on something that I don't want to talk about too much yet. I'm going to talk about it a little bit later. Well, I mean, this is public reporting from the New York Times, so I can talk about this part. If you're wondering what's happening with the legislation, with the defund ICE efforts in the Senate, the Senate hasn't, so far from all the reporting we're seeing, this is what they're talking about on C-SPAN right now. But I'm kind of dialed into this well enough to know where we're at, and I have a sense of what's coming. Not all of that I can share yet because some of it is off the record reporting, and I can't share that with you yet. Hopefully later, but what I can share is what's being publicly reported now, which is the Senate was, we were all hopeful, and still are hopeful, that the Senate Democrats would hold the line after the murder of Alex Preddy. Started with Senator Jackie Rosen. Started with Senator Cortez Masto, followed by Senator Jackie Rosen, followed by Chuck Schumer, followed by almost all Democratic senators, followed by a handful of Republican legislators, followed by, I don't know, the whole fucking world. We all made the argument that ICE cannot be funded and shut the government down if need be. Punchbowl first reported 2 days ago that Senate Democrats were negotiating with Republicans and the White House to find an off-ramp to avoid a shutdown. I didn't feel good about that because I think if there's anything worth shutting down the government for, it would have been first kicking 20 million people off of health care, but it seems that nobody gives a shit about that anymore. That's just happening. Secondly, it would have been about ice in stone cold murders from the ICE Gestapo caught on video. That doesn't seem to be enough. Although we don't know yet. I mean, unless the New York Times, let me just check. I don't know if the New York Times has. Just go in and check. I don't know if I can get a New York Times article because I don't have the pay. Let's see if I can access any New York Times articles. I don't. Sending to your faces. Test vote. All right, let's just take a look and see if I got caught. I knew I would get caught behind the paywall. In essence, I think what let's just go back here so we don't miss the press conference. In essence, what I think what's being reported as the deal on the table right now is that the Democrats will agree to split the appropriations bill into basically 6 different bills, right? Or 6 different pieces of legislation, because one of those pieces of legislation is ICE. Democrats will support 1 through 5. And they will, if the reporting, if this is what Punchbowl reported was on the table. Now, I don't know if New York Times is reporting that this is kind of what's happening. And instead of shutting down the government, they would maybe fund ICE, like fund the 6th one for a short period of time. This was and again, this is public reporting. This is what Punchbowl News came out with 2 days ago. And then negotiate with Republicans about the DHS funding, and however long that extension is going to be, and we'll know. We might know already. Let me just take a look and see. Let's see if anybody else is breaking the news. Hang on. Trump told cabinet meeting Senate to vote. So the news is kind of already broken, I think. Senate Democrats call on DOJ to stop campaigns seeking state voter rolls. Let me just make sure the idiot's not. Senate Democrats. I just want to find the reporting on the Senate to take procedural vote on government. So here we go. The Senate is expected to take a key procedural vote on a government funding package around 11:30 today. The vote on the motion to proceed the package, which includes 6 appropriation bills, requires 60 votes. It's expected to fail, as many Senate Democrats have voiced opposition to the legislation if the funding for the Department of Homeland Security isn't stripped from the larger bill. In the wake of the fatal shooting, Congress must pass blah, blah, blah. So it looks like, and this was as of 32 minutes ago. Okay. So, so as I said, I have some off-the-record stuff that I can't discuss yet about where this may or may not be going, but it looks like what's publicly being reported at this point is this: that if a bill can pass, I'm sorry, I got a tickle in my throat. If a bill can pass, and here the New York Times is reporting it's expected to fail, that strips this appropriations bill into 6 different parts. And Democrats support parts 1 through 5, and maybe part 6. Because that's what Punchbowl reported earlier in the week. Maybe part 6 as a temporary stopgap for however long that is, a short period of time, whatever the fuck that means. Then the Democrats would want a certain number of things. ICE would have to wear, I think what Punchbowl reported was ICE would have to wear body cameras. ICE would have to follow a particular code of conduct. ICE would have to, not murder people. I heard on NPR yesterday, it was or NPR this morning. Senator, the other senator from Minnesota, I can't think of her name, not Klobuchar, the other one. That that ICE will. She wanted ICE to not be able. Right now, ICE can have roving patrols within 100 flyover miles, whatever that fuck that means, of a border, whatever that means, and they would no longer be able to do that. And then ICE would have to take the masks off, and ICE agents would have to wear identification. That was what was reported. That's not acceptable as far as I'm concerned. If that's what's going to be on the table, I think that will be very disappointing. I think ICE needs to be. I realize we're at an impossible moment, and it's impossible to defund ICE at this moment since they've already been funded and those appropriations have already been appropriated to a certain extent. But I think the optics that Democrats, the optics of Democrats negotiating is insane. At this moment, you've got public opinion. I mean, you're talking about, with independents, 65%, 65 to 70% of independents alone disapproving. You have over 60% of the American public disapproving of ICE's behavior. I mean, even within Republicans, you're at something like 51%, right? It's insane. You have Republican members of the House and even the Senate. You have Democratic members of the House and the Senate. You have mayors. You have, fucking Susan Collins. I just did a post on this in the notes and on TikTok and Instagram. Susan Collins even fucking did something that, in essence, got ICE. She kissed Kristi Noem's ass, but in essence, is getting ICE out of Maine to a certain extent, right? You have the wind at your back and a country ready, willing, and able to shut down the fucking government to stop executions in real time. This is not a moment to. Can you imagine if this was flipped? If this moment was flipped and Republicans were in the position that Democrats are in right now, and they had all the leverage in the world, even as the minority. Republicans shut down the fucking government how many times in general when Obama was president in the minority? Stopped Obama, fucking watered down the Affordable Care Act. That's why we have all the problems we have. Took away the public option with a significant minority. So I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know what the Senate Democrats are going to do. I don't think there's no reporting on it. I have a sense of what they're going to do, and I'll have more information for you later. That's all I can publicly discuss about it, but I'll know more later. But why are we even here? Why aren't Democrats in this Senate? Why aren't we seeing reporting for days now that Senate Democrats are playing hardball? That no, you will never get. What can they do? What they can do? It's a great question, Tina. And because you need a 60-vote majority to move anything out of the Senate, right now there's a House bill that it was the bill that seven or eight Democrats voted for in the House that included ICE funding, the reconciliation bill to fund the government. Right. This was the leftover from the shutdown. This was the kicking down of the can where Democrats had the advantage. About a month and a half ago or 2 months ago, for when we were facing a shutdown, and you had 7 Democrats and 1 independent, Angus King, after the longest shutdown in U.S. history, surrender. This was all over Obamacare subsidies and surrender Obamacare subsidies to the Republicans. Well, now we're at that point where we've kicked the can down the road, and we've had 2 catastrophic assassinations since then, which have given Democrats all the power. So Democrats should not be negotiating in good faith with Republicans now, right? They have the wind at their sails. If they were to shut down the government, what they should be demanding is not that Republicans or Donald Trump just make some concessions to ICE and agree to some changes to ICE, they should be demanding we will shut the government down. We will not, you will not get a single Democratic vote until ICE is essentially neutered, completely and utterly neutered. Until we have not what we saw in not in my, this is obviously just my opinion, but not just what we saw in Punch Bowl. A couple of days ago, where you have some restrictions, some rules on these animals that they're not going to follow anyway, but where they're neutered. They're not allowed to go. Push them back to the fucking border where they belong, right? Or, completely limit their ability to, insist on legislation that requires due process, right? For every migrant, and due process for certainly every U.S. citizen. That would be one I would be open to, right? But we've been pulled so far into crazy, idiotic authoritarianism that there's this desperate effort just to get back to being humane. That's the best we can do when we have the wind at our backs. We have all of the momentum. The entire country is against the Trump administration. The village idiot is desperately trying to save himself. Kristi Noem is at war with Stephen fucking Miller. Carolyn Levitt is tripping over herself on the White House podium because she doesn't know who the fuck in the press room to defend and not defend. So if Democrats cannot fight when you have the power to do so, because of what? To be the bigger people? To be mature? To be reasonable? This is not a moment to be reasonable. This is a moment to be unreasonable. When murders are happening, executions on the street, when a woman with disability has her fucking window on her car broken and she's pulled out of the car and slammed to the ground. I don't want to see Cory Booker fucking reasonable. What I want to see is Ilhan Omar. What did Ilhan Omar do 2 days ago when that self-loathing, angry white MAGA dipshit tried to fucking spray her with something? She went after him, right? Did you see that video? She'd have beat the shit out of that motherfucker, right? She has that video with her fist up, and she's going after him, right? She is a fighter. House Democrat or Senate Democrats, no matter what they do, unless they do the right thing, right? Still should be ashamed of themselves today. Because we should all be rallying around Senate Democrats who are doing the legislative equivalent of Ilhan Omar picking up her fist, ready to smack that guy in the face who sprayed her with some shit. The most vulnerable person in the entire Congress. The most threatened person in the U.S. House of Representatives. And she's tiny. What is she? Probably weigh 130 pounds wet, with heavy shoes on. Right? She's going to go. She is the most threatened person in all of Congress. The village idiot Donald Trump has a personal agenda to try to fucking get her killed, right? And she just keeps punching back. Literally to the point when someone came after her, she was ready to throw down. And we see that. And I'm sorry, Cory Booker, Andy Kim, my senators, I love you guys. But where the fuck have you been this last week? Why haven't you been out constantly pushing for some version of defund ICE that maybe isn't defund ICE. I get that the country is not going to go for defund ICE. But where have they been? You know, talking about the murders incessantly. Talking about how is it that the Senate Democrats didn't have a plan? My God, guys, within hours of the moment that Senator Cortez Maestro came out and said, I will not fund ICE. We all thought, and we were too fucking dumb to know better, that we're going to get a government shutdown. How is it within hours of that there wasn't a strategy? That Senate Democrats hadn't coalesced about a strategy determining what it is that they want, and that they weren't going to fucking take no for an answer. And they were going to pin these assholes to the fucking wall, including shut down the government, if need be. And at best, the best we're going to get now, and thank God it's better than nothing, I'll say that. But the best we're going to get now is a handful of rules. And it'll be law, so that'll be helpful. And it doesn't mean these rules won't be useful. But the best we're going to get is a handful of rules. What about, there's nothing in there about when an ICE Gestapo agent murders someone, that the federal government can't cover it up, can't destroy the evidence. What about that? I just, I shouldn't be acting like this much of a. Is this village idiot ever? We need some entertainment. Is this fucking idiot ever going to come on with his, with his frickin' cabinet meeting? Right. This is not where I was planning to go today. But let me just redo this. Maybe he came on and I just didn't. Maybe I just didn't. Maybe I needed a refresh on this C-SPAN feed. Oh my God, I did. All right, let's get the idiot.
They'll be bringing back tremendous wealth for Venezuela and for the United States, and the oil companies will do fine too. Venezuela will actually make for themselves more money than they've ever made before, and that's a good thing. And the people of Venezuela were literally in the streets waving American flags. They were so happy. And
did you see that?
Our country, like in the Doral section of Miami, which is considered Little Venezuela, they're thrilled. And I just spoke to the president of Venezuela, informed her that we're going to be opening up all commercial airspace over Venezuela. American citizens will be very shortly able to go to Venezuela, and they'll be safe there. They'll be safe. It's under very strong control. And the people of formerly of Venezuela, some want to go back and some want to go back to visit, and they're going to be able to do that. So I've instructed Sean Duffy and everybody else concerned, including the military, that if you would, by the end of today, I'd like you to have the airspace over Venezuela. Planes can go to Venezuela opened up. Okay?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Oh, that's really nice. He does look pretty bad.
I want to thank all of the people in Venezuela for what they went through, and I want to thank the leadership.
I mean, he always looks
really
bad.
They're doing a good job.
The leadership is doing a great job. We love them.
Defeated the Biden inflation nightmare and achieved explosive new economic growth. The Atlanta Fed is predicting an astounding 5.4% GDP growth in the fourth quarter.
No, they're not.
And that's despite
Shut up, you fucknut. Colin Powell. Fed Chief Powell, not Colin Powell. The Fed held rates steady at. They didn't decrease interest rates because they're trying to get 2 days ago because they're still trying to get inflation under control because of tariffs.
That we had
Jerome
a Democrat
Powell.
shutdown, we would have had that number would have been 7%, which is a number nobody's ever heard of, and we've had.
And there will be no GDP of 5.4%. They were at a GDP at 4-point-something%. 50% of that GDP is 7 AI companies doing trillion-dollar deals with each other.
We've been given great national security because of tariffs, and we've also been given unprecedented income because of tariffs.
Looks like a melted Wellington boot.
Part of the income
That's
that we
pretty
gave,
funny.
$12 billion, we gave to the farmers of our country.
There's the
that
pots.
Yesterday I was up in
Scott Bessent, the new
Iowa,
pots.
and they were very happy, Madam Secretary. Yes, sir. They were very, very happy.
Very happy, Madam Secretary.
So the GDP growth in the fourth quarter was great, and it's going to be, I think we're going to have an amazing and incredible year. Hopefully we won't have a shutdown. We're working on that right now. I think we're getting close. The Democrats, I don't believe, want to see it either. So
I want to see it.
Work in a very bipartisan way. I believe not to have a shutdown. We don't want a shutdown. And just yesterday, the S&P 500 hit 7,000 for the first time ever. There's never been any time at which it's done like that. And the other stocks
He doesn't
also,
even know
I think
what-
it was 52 times
what that
when
means.
the Dow had hit a record high. But the 7,000 was not a number that was even thinkable if you go back a year ago. So S&P hit 7,000 for the first time ever. The stock market has set, it's actually 53 all-time record highs since the election, adding $9 trillion in value to savings, retirement accounts, and 401ks. And I mean, everybody benefits, but we have record stock markets. Companies have never done well. And most importantly,
They've
if you
never
think
done
about it,
well.
After 4 years,
Never happened.
in which Biden got much less than $1 trillion of investment into our country.
14? Is that going to be the number, Donald?
Just, actually, it was taken over 11 months, even though we're 12 months.
Maybe.
In 11 months,
14
we've
trillion?
taken in more than
What'd you do, Donald?
$18 trillion.
18,
So
18,
they
America.
did less than $1 trillion, Scott,
18.
in a period of 4 years. And we've
Gone
done
from
$18
4
trillion
to
in less than 1 year.
7
So
to
there's never been anything like that. No other country has
to
done those numbers, by the way, in
14
history. 10 years ago, one country did
19
$3 trillion.
to 21
No other-
to
we did
22.
$18 trillion.
I was hoping
is
he'd
being
hit the
invested
18.
now.
Today we got
Thousands
the
of,
18.
Businesses, plants, equipment, all over the country are being built right now. And they're going to be opening pretty soon. And when they open, you'll see numbers like nobody's ever seen before. The economy is doing amazingly well. I wish the press
Amazing
would
well.
report it, but people are finding out. They're seeing it. It's coming. It's becoming pretty evident. It's hard to hide. Biden inflation, which is really stagflation, cost the typical family
Stagflation, not stagflation, you
$1,000.
fucking idiot.
Think of that, $34,000.
I know, right? Can't
But
remember that.
after
Half
1
of our
year,
children- half of
growth
that.
in real
It's gone.
incomes is outpacing inflation.
But it's
by
probably
more
all
than
being held
3,000
in
under
Donald's
Trump.
personal fucking
So one cost
bank account in
$34,000
Qatar.
and one made $3,000. That's a big swing. Gasoline has plunged to, think of this, over
30 cents a
$4
gallon.
a gallon, depending on where you are. In California, it's $7, $8 a gallon. While I was in Iowa, and they had $1.85 because I had it at $1.99 a gallon. And I was corrected by two farmers that said, I just bought my gasoline
Of
for
course,
$1.85.
that just.
So, Chris, you have to be doing something right, you and Doug, right? But I don't want to give you too much confidence. You got to keep it going. We're drilling, I think
funny.
I can say we're drilling more than at any time ever in the history. We're taking out more energy out of our land, but specifically, if you look at oil and gas, we've never been anywhere even close. Is that a correct statement?
That is correct. All-time records.
Yeah, great. It's a great job. Well,
Fuck off.
It's supply
I
and
can't
demand,
remember the
so
shit on that
that's going
dickhead
down
energy
rapidly.
secretary. It'll come
You
into
know,
my
when
head.
energy
and I'll
goes
tell
down,
it.
everything else goes
But
down.
there's
They were-
something with him and
they had
Trump from
very-
years
They
ago
tried
that I can't
to
remember.
do their thing. It was a disaster. Then they ran back very late to the Trump policy, but they didn't do the Trump policy. They cut leases. They did everything that they could do, but they lost it, and they were very high. And we're now less than $2 in many areas, $2.30 a gallon average. Grocery prices, airfares, hotels,
The
car
average,
payments, and rent prices
I think
are
Gas Buddy or whatever the fuck that is. It is going to be. They're estimating that it's a cheaper. It will be a cheaper year for gasoline because supply is so heavy unless OPEC restricts supply to increase increase the pricing. But the expectation is about in 2026 about 279 is what the expected average is over the course of the year.
coming down very fast. And you don't hear the word affordability issued by the Democrats anymore. Now they're going into other things because they're getting beaten badly on affordability. Remember that when I was elected, I came into office, I inherited a total mess, starting with eggs, which were 4 times higher than they were just a year before. And Brooke got them down very quickly before Easter. They said they wanted me to buy plastic eggs for the egg hunt, at the very famous egg hunt at the White House. Sir, would you buy plastic eggs? I would buy
Sir, will you buy it?
100,000 eggs. They said, we're not going to buy plastic eggs.
We're not going to buy
And by the
I'm
time
not
we
going
had
to
the egg
have
hunt,
plastic
A few months later, we
eggs.
had
I
the
don't like
prices
plastic
down
eggs.
pretty good. And now they're really low. Now they're at a very low level.
Very low.
So we
I
really
never sell
have, you don't
anything
hear
like
the
it.
word
plastic
affordability
is-
because we inherited very high prices and we inherited the highest inflation in 48 years. I say the history of our country, I think it sounds almost the same. Actually, I think 48 years sounds actually worse for some reason. So I'll go with the 40 because the press corrected me. I said history and they said, it's not a history, it's 48 years. I said, I'll accept that. And we had the highest inflation in 48 years. We have now as you saw yesterday with the Fed, I'm not a fan of his. He said that inflation essentially is not a factor. It's really been pretty amazing. I just put out a statement about
Liar, 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 liar. He's a liar. Fuck. I mean, I gotta stop it there, guys, because what the fuck? I mean, I hear him lie. He lies like a fucking liar who lies, right? But no. Right? No. The fuck? He's out of his fucking mind. I know it's frontotemporal dementia. Jerome Powell said inflation is the reason, right, that we are not lowering interest rates. He said that 2 days ago. Okay. Whew. I feel better now. How about you guys? Let's continue.
statements. I won't repeat them here because they're too angry. And
too angry.
thanks to our
Very
tax
upset.
cuts, millions of Americans will soon receive record-setting tax refunds. You're going to get a lot of tax refunds.
You're going to get a lot
The
of
average
money.
refund
You're
expected
going to be a millionaire.
over
You're going to get a
$1,000
check.
higher than it has been at any time. So
Anytime.
we're going to be getting some pretty good refunds, a lot of people.
$100 million. Every American.
If congressional Democrats had their way, Americans would right now be facing the largest tax hike ever. You know, their proposal was to raise taxes very substantially. And our proposal, which is in the great, big, beautiful New Deal, it's a New Deal in its own way. It's a Republican version
he's got
of
a
the
new-
New Deal. Right behind you is a nice picture of
Got a new
FDR.
thing. Now it's the New
This
Deal.
is a much better deal than the FDR deal. But we have the great, big, beautiful
Look at these putzes.
bill, and
Just
it's
the
given
Confederacy of
tremendous
putzes. Look at them
tax
sitting
cuts
there.
and a lot of other things. People are now finding out how good it is, and it's just kicked in as of January 1st, by the way. So we're really starting to see
People,
it.
I know, and
Even
your
though
poll
it's a month,
numbers
we're
on the
really
economy
starting to see
are
it. The U.S.
just
economy would
soaring.
be cratering if they had won this election. Our country would be in very bad shape. Would be maybe not much of a country anymore. I don't think it would be a country
On. I mean, we
anymore.
might be an authoritarian
They were
state
doing
if
everything
Kamala would have
wrong, but
won,
they were
right?
gonna
We
give
might
you
have
the
the
largest tax
ICE
hike
Gestapo
in history,
agents
we're
with
giving you
masks
the
running
largest
around
tax
murdering
cut
people in real
in
time
history
on
in the
video. If
great,
Kamala
big,
would have
beautiful
won, holy
bill.
shit,
In
we might
addition, I
have
think it's very
2.5%,
good. I think it's very
inflation
important. You have
since that's what we
no
had when
tax on
when
overtime,
2
no
or
tax on
2.4
tips, and no
or
tax on Social
2.3%
Security, but
inflation
you
because that's what
also have-
Biden
you're
had.
getting
She
an
would have
this is
continued
the
Biden's
first time this
policies.
ever
We
happened.
might
If
have
you
had
buy a car,
affordable
you go out
housing
and
right
borrow
now
money,
since that
you
was
get
going to be
an
her main
interest
focus. We might have had an
deduction. You
anti-gouging
take
law
the
and
interest rate,
price
the
gouging law in
interest that you're
place.
paying on the
So
loan, you're able to deduct
power
it for
companies
income tax
and
purposes.
grocery stores
So
couldn't
that's,
continue to raise the prices
a
of food.
first ever,
It would have been horrible.
and I think it's going to be great
Fuck off.
for everybody, including the car companies. I was in Detroit.
They're going to have a great time. The car
3
companies.
weeks ago, I went to the Ford factory, spoke to the General Motors people. It's
I
all
told the
same.
guy to go
They're
fuck
doing
himself,
better
and I
than
gave him the
they've
middle
ever done.
finger.
The factory I went to was like a World War I.
He called me a
earlier than
pedophile
World War I
protector.
factory
That's
opened
what
up.
he said.
One of the oldest buildings, but one of the biggest. And Ford was getting ready to close it a couple of years ago, and then they saw that I was doing well, and it looked like I would have a good chance of winning, and they kept it going, barely going. And last week they announced, during my visit, they announced that they're going to round the clock Well, around-the-clock production. They never
24/7.
I said, "Did you
That's what
ever
I.
dance
That's what
what
I
we
call
built
it. It's an
for?"
old-fashioned word. 24.
And the president
7.
of Ford, they were both there, and they said, we can't even believe it. We were going to close this building 2 years ago, and now it's going round the clock. He said, we cannot.
Wouldn't it be
I
awesome
mean,
now if
they
somebody,
wish-
one of
they
the
said, "We
reporters
wish it
yelled,
was twice the
"Pedophile
size," but
protector"?
They're now
Like they did
building
at the Ford plant.
additional plants in the United States, as is everybody else. You have AI building, but the car companies, I love the car companies, and you have them. They're all coming back. They're coming back from
They're coming back
Mexico.
like never
they're coming back
before.
from Canada. They're coming back from Japan. And they're coming back from Germany, all over Europe. They're coming back. They're building here because they want to avoid the tariffs. They don't want to pay the-
Lie, 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 lie. Lie. Sorry. Did you guys see my post from on here on Substack? It was also on Instagram. Semaphore did a story that Volkswagen 2 days ago. Volkswagen is seriously consider pulling all operations out of the United States. Seriously consider pulling fucking Volkswagens out of the United States because of the tariffs and because of the business uncertainty. He just said Germany, so fuck off, Donald, again.
15%, in some cases 25% tariff. Could be a lot higher than that if it wasn't working. So because of that, they're all coming back.
They're all coming.
One statistic yesterday that Scott told me is
Scott
that
is
for
a
the
great
first time I
guy.
ever tell him about the steel in Japan, that we are now making more steel. Go ahead, please.
So yesterday they reported for the first time in
Oh, it's a lot, Nick.
26 years, the United States of America produced more steel than Japan. And that is entirely driven by your tariffs.
Ludwig needs a haircut, doesn't he? Oh, wait, we're all...
He obviously said that much better than I did, because I got no applause that I'm giving you. I'm giving you a home run after home run. He said one for everybody. I should have saved that one for myself. No, but think of it. The first time, and they read almost 30 years, but I guess it's 26, 27 years, that we are now producing more steel than Japan. Japan being a big steel producer. Japan and other countries really took
Let's
our
fact check
steel
that.
production away from us. Now, if you think of this, 3-4 years ago, the steel companies were all closing up. We worked a fantastic deal with U.S. Steel. We saved U.S. Steel.
That was Biden's
And now
deal,
it's
you
all
dumb
coming
fuck.
about, but we're, and that's just the beginning. There are a lot of steel plants right now being built. So it's that's an amazing number. Nobody would have believed that. If you
By
would
the
have
way,
said that
Japan is a country that's the size
3,
of
4,
like
5 years ago,
fucking
people would have said,
Massachusetts.
It's not a.
Hey,
true
we're
fact.
producing more steel
So
than
it
them.
has to be
You
true, 'cause
think, you
otherwise
dumb fuck? We're a lot bigger.
You question me on everything.
But let's see.
I have to be extremely accurate. I don't exaggerate it. I don't want to exaggerate. 'cause
I wouldn't
you
exaggerate.
will call
Never
me- You don't call other
exaggerate.
people, but you would call me under my most favored nation spot, which I think is the most important thing, Bobby.
All right,
of
that
all.
is true. That is true.
What we've
There
done,
is actual
because we're
reporting
bringing
that
drug
U.S. steel
prices down
production
by
exceeded
80,
Japan's
90%,
for the
depending
first
on
time
what
in
you can say,
26
5,
years,
6,
so
7,
I can't argue that.
800%. Depends on the way you want to calculate it, right? But let's
Can't
go
argue.
the old-fashioned way. But drug prices for prescription drugs will be down 80, 90%, 75%, 68%.
When? When?
They've only gone up for years and years and years. They've only gone up, and now we're going to have essentially the most favored nation. We're going to have the most favored price.
When
in
will
the
this?
whole world.
They've been
Whatever the
babbling on
lowest
about
price
this
in the
since
world
that
is,
press
that's
conference
what
where the
we're
guy
going
passed
to-
out and Donald was
Hey,
annoyed
I
by
don't wanna
that.
go into a big deal, but
When are we
nobody
going to
else could've
see
gotten
a
this, but
single
this
drug
administration, I'm being very nice
go down?
when I say that the cost of prescription drugs is coming down by a number that was never even thought of. This will have a huge impact on healthcare, by the way, because obviously drugs are a big part of healthcare. And
Drugs
it
are a
will
big part of healthcare.
help repair some of the Unaffordable Care Act's damage that they've done, because the Unaffordable Care Act, which is Obamacare, it's unaffordable. It's not affordable. And it's
Well, it's
a
not
disaster.
affordable now
Hopefully,
because they're
we will
thanks
be
to this,
paying
him and the
money directly to the
Republicans,
people instead of giving the
they-
insurance
you know,
companies the
the
money.
subsidies
They'll go
weren't-
into a healthcare savings
weren't,
account or whatever
continued.
it is. But think of it. We pay the money, billions and billions, really trillions of dollars, going to insurance companies. We want that money to go to the people.
You know, the idiot's been hammering insurance companies now with, for I mean, rightfully so, but for the wrong reasons. For about 2 months now, because he hates Obama so much because Obama is black and was a president, and everybody loved him, and everybody still loves him. And he hates Obama. He hates Obama so much, and he's got to. And that's why all the Republicans want to get rid of Obamacare, right? They hate them. They hate Obama so much, right? That they want to desperately get rid of Obamacare. And in this effort to get rid of Obamacare because they hate Obama so much, the solution is going to be and even some Republicans in the House are kind of like, just shut the fuck up, Donald. We need to just pass the subsidies, just pass the a short term extension for the subsidies. But because the idiot is so immature and mentally ill and out of control, he just can't do it, even to save himself politically. And he's just going to keep pushing these healthcare savings plans. And he's so been attacking the insurance companies so incessantly for the wrong things that that I wonder if we're going to see a situation where the insurance companies stop funding political campaigns, Republican political campaigns. That would be the best thing that could happen from this, is that the insurance industry gets so fed up with the village idiot and his behavior, and how he's vilifying them. And they're already pretty fucking vilified, rightfully so. Like people dying from them denying life-saving care, for example, that they don't want to pay for. But and totally monopolizing the healthcare industry, from hospitals to insurance companies to doctors' practices to testing centers, and just owning all of it in single companies, right? But I would love to see if, as we move toward 2026, if insurance company funding of Republican campaigns bottoms out. It would be glorious.
Their own health care, and it's so popular. The problem we have is the Democrats are owned by the insurance companies. They're literally owned lock, stock, and barrel by the insurance companies, and they hate it. But the people love it, including all Democrats. So I think
the people love it.
perhaps be
They
successful
love
with
that the
it. But
Democrats are owned
it
by
was an
insurance
idea.
companies.
I
I can't
read
really
the
say anything
papers,
that makes any
and
sense,
I'm
so I
reading
just
one
say
of the
stuff.
stories about the insurance companies, how much money they're making, where they received, billions and billions of dollars for this stuff from the United States of America, and their stock has gone up by.
They receive, listen to what he says. They receive billions and billions of dollars for this stuff on the United States of America. That is the frontotemporal dementia that we're being told about, where he can't finish a sentence. He makes up things. A lot of the lies that you're hearing now, one of the symptoms of the frontotemporal dementia is that he fills in when he doesn't know what to say, when he forgets what he's talking about, or he doesn't know what to say, or he doesn't understand anything anymore. He creates things that he believes, lies that he just fills in, and I always want you to watch for that, because it keeps happening over and over. It's just these endless fill-ins. But the thing about it is that sometimes he knows he's lying, but as the dementia continues to get worse, he doesn't know he's lying. And sometimes, he could, I think when we read that article together about it, he could actually at times pass a lie detector test, because the dementia just causes him to make things up, to say those things as filler when his mind goes blank and he can't say anything anymore. Fill in that filler, and also that filler kind of justifies whatever he might have been talking about before or after. So just, keep an eye out. And then you combine that with the malignant narcissism, which is he has to be right, he has to be loved, he has to be adored, he has to be the smartest guy in the room, he has to be praised, he has to be petted and patted, and he has to be made to think that he's a genius. And he has to let everybody know that he's smarter and better than them. And you have these two. One is a physical deterioration, and one is a mental illness. And you combine these two very severe problems that he has, and this is what we see.
1,500%. Think of it, 1,400. One went up 1,700%. Numbers went up. If you go up 1,000%, you're doing bad in that business, right? And it's all because of the money. Not all, but mostly because of the money the United States pays to the insurance companies. They say, this is big stuff. And I asked somebody, why
It's
don't we
big
just pay
stuff?
the people directly? And they said, that's a good idea. You know, it's funny, it's a very complicated business, but actually, it's not so complicated. And I went to Bobby and I went to Dr. Oz. I said, can I talk to you guys about this? Is this the kind of money the insurance companies get? Yes. Why don't we pay the people directly? And the primary answer was that the Democrats will never go along with it. But the people go along with it because I put it out. It went viral. It went viral. Susie, I went all over the place. It became the biggest story. I just said it. And so...
Look, I mean, does
I think we
she
have a
not
great-
look like one crazy fuck? You know, this is Susie Wiles. She's the White House chief of staff. Susie Wiles, not too long ago, I don't remember if she did an interview with Vanity Fair or The New Yorker. I think it was Vanity Fair. I don't remember. Where she kind of outed all of the weirdos and creeps and nut jobs in the Trump administration, right? And then she denied it, right? And she said that everything was taken out of context and that it was all bullshit and the liberal lunatics were out to get her, right? And the weird thing I find about this is the mainstream media keeps trying to paint her as the sane one, as the adult in the room, as the one who won't tolerate the buffoonery and the stupidity. Every time I see her, she always looks like this. And she doesn't speak much, but there is a craziness in her. Like, she looks like a fucking lunatic, right? I mean, you know, granted, she's not the typical look that Donald Trump would like, right? She's, you know, older. She's, you know, not thin, and she doesn't have, you know, clearly not a boob job and Botox lips and bleached blonde hair. And, you know, she's not the type of chick that he's usually hot for, right? But even so, she's been put in this position. But although you rarely, if ever, hear her speak, her affect, and maybe it's the way she looks, but the way she comports herself, she looks like a fucking nutcase. She's got that wild fucking crazy hair. And even in the, and again, I don't remember if it was Vanity Fair but even in the spread, in the photo, you know, in the big photo shoot that they did, which is a formalized, you know, photo shoot in a studio or in the White House, but it looked very sharp. They couldn't even fucking make her look less nuts. Look, you know, if you Google that story and you look up this nut job, she's always got this angry look on her face. Not that I should talk because, look, my hair is not in the best of shape, but it doesn't look like, it looks like she owns like a blow dryer, but not a brush. It's always just crazy looking. She always has that scowl on her face. I find it hard to believe that she's the sort of, you know, sane conductor trying to manage and run the circus sensibly. I think she is a fucking loose cannon nutcase like the rest of them. And I don't know why the media keeps giving her these props that she's the normal one, because that's not normal. I digress.
Situation if we can do it. If you think most favored nation policy for drugs will bring your drug prices down and level. So now if they're selling a pill for $10 in London and $130 in New York, the London price will go up to $20 and we'll go down to $20. So we'll go from 130 down to 20.
130 to
And
130.
by the
They're going
way,
to pay you to
Taz
take the
did it
drugs.
again because the drug company said we'll do it begrudgingly, but they were okay. But we'll do it, but no nation's going to approve it, because even if you raise the price by, like on a pill, $10 to $20, you're doubling the price of their prescription drugs. I said, no, they'll do it. And when
They're
I got
gonna
them
do
on the
it.
phone,
They'll
I
do
said,
it.
if you don't do it, we're going to charge you very substantial tariffs, more money than that's going to cost you. And they said, we'll do it. And before, I don't know that any other president even tried to do it. We can't find it. But if they did try,
We
they
can't
wouldn't have
find- we
gotten
looked
through
for it, we
the
couldn't
companies.
find it.
They wouldn't have gotten
I'm
through
still
the
looking
company,
for
and then
it.
they wouldn't have gotten through the country. I spoke with Macron. He was the first one. He was not at that time wearing sunglasses. And he said, no, Donald, I will not do this. I will not. I won't even consider, you're asking me to double the price. I said, you have no choice. You have to do it because you guys have been ripping us off. In other words, the whole world, we've been subsidizing the whole world on drug costs. That's why they were $10 and we'd be at 130. As
He's
an
been
example.
talking
There were
about
many
that.
examples.
We're-
I could give you examples even worse. He
I don't
said,
know
"No,
how
no,
many
no,
minutes
I
into
will
this
not do
thing
that."
and how
And I
long
said,
has
"Yes,
he been
you
babbling
100%
about
will do it." I said,
this?
He said,
The
"No,
same
I
thing
won't
over and
do
over
it.
again.
You're asking me to double the cost of our prescription. We will not do that. I mean, look, you've been ripping us off now for decades. We're not going to do it anymore. You can do it under Biden and Obama and other people. You're not going to do it under us.
You're
We
not
won't
gonna do it
I
under
said,
me.
"Well, if you don't
Nothing
do it,
is
I'm gonna
go-
charge
nothing
you
is
a
under me.
25%
It's not gonna
tariff
happen."
on all of your wine, champagne, and everything else you sell into the United States." He said, like I said, I will do it. And that was the end of the conversation, right? That was the end of the conversation. So now we have favored nations that everybody said would be impossible to get. And I then had the same conversation with 15 other countries. Every one of them agreed after a short conference. They all said
Oh,
no.
dear God, he's still
And then
talking.
within a matter of seconds, they said,
You know,
we would be very happy to do that.
there are
Thank you for asking in such a nice way. And it's, it's a great achievement.
There are
I think
moments
it's going to be one of the best
still
achievements we've had in this country in
that
a long
I
time. So we're going to
cannot
be
wrap
knocking
my
drug
brain around
prices
the
down
fact
at
that this
levels
idiot
never
is the
seen
president
before.
of
I
the
want to
United
thank the
States of
drug
America.
companies
I know it.
because Once they agreed, they really did.
He's still
they felt
talking
it was
about
very
it.
unfair.
This fucking idiot.
One of them told me it's actually a
He's still talking about it. You're not listening. Don't worry. Let's see if I at the end of the phone. I just need to give you a break.
I said, yeah, but you have research and development
Still there.
from them. Made
Let's
in the
see. Let's
same
do a little-
factory, made in everything.
Let's try
This
another.
is
Let's try it
where
again.
My friend, who's very successful, I told him,
Let's see if we get through the whole clip.
I've known him a long time. He's a crude individual, but smart as hell, made a lot
Still
of money.
talking about.
Yeah,
Still
but he just
talking
thought
about
it
the
was
same
sort of
thing.
ridiculous. He happened to be in London and he got the shot, Ozempic, I think, or one of them. And I told him it wasn't
Well,
working.
let's just one more time.
For him,
He
it
can't. Oh wait.
And he brought up a good point. I told him, man, he knows who I'm talking about. He's going crazy. He begs me not to mention.
He's not talking about me, ladies.
It's not our great vice president. No, but he begs me not to mention his name because he's become very famous
Fucking idiots.
without mentioning his name. And he is actually a very
This is real.
well-known business person. But he did make a point. But I knew the point very well.
All right, let's do it again. One more time.
Go through the whole table because the last time we had a press conference, it lasted for 3 hours.
Is this something
And
new?
some people said he closed his eyes. Look,
All right,
it got
he is
pretty
onto
boring.
something new. So he's,
In all fairness, I love these people. I love these people.
oh my
But
God!
there's a
Look at
lot of
these
people.
fucking
It
ass-kissing
was a little bit on the
weirdos.
boring side. But I didn't sleep. I just closed them because I wanted to get the hell out of here. Some of them, I didn't sleep. I don't sleep much, let me tell you. But it's funny. Some of them got me in a blink. When you go like. And they took me as at the closed segment of my cycle. And they said he's sleeping. And besides that, Marco, between these two guys, if I was sleeping, they'd be waking me up very fast. They'd be knocking me come on, you got to wake up more.
This is insane,
But,
Tina. You're right.
It's
fucking crazy.
We've had great meetings. Look, we're the most transparent presidency.
If I didn't
by
see it,
far.
I wouldn't
love
believe
going
it.
around the room, but we're going to pick a few people. I think I would like to ask Steve if he could just give us a brief description of how well we're doing in the Middle East. 'Cause we
Oh,
had
no,
peace
Donald,
in the
please
Middle
keep
East.
talking.
Just a couple of little minor flames that we put out very easily. And very importantly, we got our last sausage back, which is incredible. Unfortunately, this was...
I'm so sorry. I did a great job.
And I will tell you, Hamas was a big factor in getting all of the hostages back. They had we were not happy with them, and they had to bring them back. And they
all
they
right,
found
guys.
the dead hostages, the
Not
bodies.
to deprive you of Steve Witkoff bullshitting us all about what's going on in Gaza right now. And then the village idiot babbling for another 20 minutes. Did he say we got our last sausage back? Oh, that was... We got our last one. We had a lot of sausages out there. A lot of sausages out there. They have them in the Middle East. I've tried. A very rich guy. I talked to a very nice guy, important guy. He said, I get a lot of sausage from Gaza. They have great sausage. And I get it from there. It's very cheap. But I said, you're not going to send it to the United States without a 25%. Now you get the sausage for very cheap. It's like, it's never happened before. You get your sausage for $5. They're charging the sausage $1 million. When did they become our hostages? Exactly. All right, guys. But again, not to deprive you of this, but I have to go. We have our daily briefing now. Hopefully I'll get some more information about what's happening in the Senate today. We'll see. And I will share that with you guys either in a live or, in a, in a post if there's anything, there that I can talk about that is of interest. That was just something, if you want to entertain yourself and listen to the rest of this, just go to C-SPAN. Oh, Gamer Vet Data, the piece was amazing. Don't the op-ed. It was you had as much op-ed in there, which you almost never see this in an op-ed. I think your piece had as much factual analysis as there was op-ed. And usually op-eds are just hard, straight up opinions, but your opinion pieces are loaded with data and facts. They're almost inarguable and irrefutable. So if you're feeling op-edish, go for it. And I've written lots of op-eds when I was writing, and I was never nearly as efficient and reasonable and fact-based. So your op-eds are awesome. So no more Miss Patty Ann. That's it, right? Okay. I get it. All right, guys. I will see you all soon. 1 minute at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 day at a time, 1 live at a time. Somehow we're going to survive this. Just keep chunking through. This fucking stupidity is, sometimes I think what keeps us going. Certainly does me. It certainly helps. All right, guys. I love you guys. I don't know if I can get out of here.
Hostages. And those parents wanted their sons
all right,
back.
shut up. For fuck's sake. All right, here we go. Now I've you can't. The sound effects help. I haven't had a chance yet. I haven't had the extra time, but I have a slew of additional sound effects that I will be adding. I definitely need a laugh track, and I also need some more of Donald's more famous comments. But as we wrap up, I think it's always important to leave you with, where are we? Where is the win? There we go.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more. We're going to win so much.
Love you guys. I'll see you soon. Keep winning.